It all happened so fast. Just a few months ago, Las Vegas was hemorrhaging visitors, 2.5 million of them to be exact, and hotel profits took a nosedive, dropping a staggering 14%, throwing the entire strip into a state of absolute chaos. You see, everyday travelers were running for the hills, scared off by prices that had shot through the roof. And even the top brass, the CEOs, were publicly admitting shame on us for things like $12 coffees. So now the city is making a desperate move, waving goodbye to those hated resort fees. They're slashing room rates like never before and throwing a massive $35 million bet on the power of old school nostalgia. But behind all these flashy discounts, one huge question hangs in the air. Is any of this actually enough to save a city that everyone thought was completely unsinkable? And let me tell you, the answers might just be more revealing and honestly more unsettling than you could ever imagine. It all started when Resorts World Las Vegas did something that absolutely stunned the entire strip. They got rid of resort fees, completely. This was a move so bold that not a single other major hotel had the guts to follow suit. For visitors who had gotten used to forking over an extra $44 to $57 every single night for simple things like Wi-Fi and pool access, well, seeing those charges suddenly vanish was a big deal, something you just couldn't ignore. And this wasn't some short-term gimmick. The fee waiver was locked in all the way through September 11th, 2025. But this was more than just a clever marketing ploy. It was basically a public confession that their old way of doing things just wasn't working anymore. Guests were completely fed up with all the hidden costs. And believe me, the backlash was getting loud. People were paying more and more for rooms, but the service they were getting was falling flat. And a lot of loyal, longtime visitors were complaining that hotel cleanliness had just hit an all-time low. So by ditching those fees, Resorts World was making a huge gamble. They were betting they could win back the trust of travelers, the very people who had started to write off Vegas as a city that was just overpriced and, frankly, underwhelming. This was so much more than just a discount, though. It was a direct challenge thrown down to every other hotel on the strip. The unspoken message was, if one place could willingly give up millions of dollars in easy money, what possible excuse did everyone else have? And that led to the real question, could honesty alone be enough to fix the city's badly bruised reputation? Or was it too late? Had years of nickel and diming customers already caused damage that could never be undone? As that question lingered, a massive $35 million marketing blitz began to sweep across the city. This whole thing was orchestrated by the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority, and their message couldn't have been simpler. Let's remind the entire world why Las Vegas is a place that matters. Instead of apologizing for their recent mistakes, the team would double down on the city's legendary, iconic image. They kicked things off with a brand new national commercial, and they chose the perfect moment to drop it. Right during the NFL season opener. It was a genius move, capturing millions of eyeballs at the precise moment when football fans were starting to dream about their next big trip. Over in New York, Times Square was lit up by a massive 3D billboard, just shimmering with that classic neon nostalgia. Meanwhile, back in Vegas, even Harry Reid International Airport was transforming the arrivals gate into a full-blown spectacle. I'm talking music, live performers, and special themed lighting, all working together to give you that incredible Vegas feeling before you even had a chance to grab your bags. It felt like every possible channel was pulsing with that classic, welcome to fabulous Las Vegas energy. The whole point was to reignite those memories of first jackpots, those unforgettable wild nights, and that unique promise of finding something extraordinary. You see, the campaign wasn't just trying to sell a hotel room. It was selling a feeling. The feeling that Las Vegas, when it's at its absolute best, is still unlike any other place on earth. Then came the sales. Las Vegas resorts started unleashing these record-shattering flash sales. At one point, advertising up to 50% off certain rooms, during what they called a fabulous 5-day sale. Hotels like MGM Grand and Luxor were leading the charge, and Caesars Palace got creative. They swapped out those dreaded resort fees for food credits, cleverly turning a major pain point into an actual perk. And the response from the public? It was instantaneous. According to the data, booking interest exploded, soaring to a level 7.5 times higher than Black Friday and Cyber Monday put together. Just think about that. Caesars even doubled down by offering special discounts just for locals, hoping to fill up empty rooms with staycationers and win back the loyalty of the hometown crowd. But this wasn't just about finding a quick fix. Vegas was also playing the long game. the city poured an incredible $600 million into expanding the Las Vegas Convention Center. This was a massive project, increasing its capacity from 1.9 million to 2.5 million square feet. That's a 30% jump. They even built a new climate-controlled sky bridge to connect the north and south halls, which makes hosting enormous events so much more comfortable all year long. And it's already paying off, with major conventions like ConExpo Con Ag already on the books. The operators are betting that this huge, long-term investment is what will finally turn the tide, bringing in a steady stream of business from big groups, even while the regular tourist travel remains so unpredictable. And that brings us back to the CEO of MGM Resorts, Bill Hornbuckle, who didn't pull any punches when talking about the outrage over a $12 Starbucks coffee at the Excalibur. "Shame on us," he said, flat out, admitting that the city's pricing had simply crossed a line for way too many visitors. But let's be real, that apology wasn't just about a cup of coffee. It was about a much bigger crisis of confidence that was brewing. Because as the price of just about everything on the Strip kept creeping higher and higher, the numbers started to tell a scary story. By the late summer of 2025, hotel occupancy had already fallen to just 78.7%. The figures told a grim story, a drop of 6.5 percentage points from the year before. And the average price for a room? It had slipped to $164, a painful 6.6% dive. Even worse, the revenue for each room plummeted a staggering 13.8%. For a town built on filling every single bed every night, those numbers sent an ice-cold shiver through boardrooms and investor calls. Hornbuckle's own words pointed to a much bigger, more personal problem. As the price tags got bigger, people's expectations soared, but what they actually got, well, it just wasn't matching up. That chasm between what you paid and what you experienced had become a canyon. Think about it. Visitors who used to just roll their eyes at resort fees were now blasting their overpriced dinner receipts all over social media, fueling this massive online narrative that Vegas just wasn't worth it anymore. And the fallout? It was immediate. You could see booking patterns shifting in real time, with people actively choosing to go elsewhere, anywhere where the price on the sticker actually felt like the experience they were getting. Suddenly, all the operators were in a mad scramble to fix it, desperately slashing their prices and throwing in perks, but it was too little too late. The damage was already done, and you could see it plain as day in the hard numbers. The city's very identity, its reputation as a haven of affordable excitement, was eroding, replaced by skepticism and pure sticker shock. And even as new deals started popping up, one question hung heavy in the air. Could you really buy back trust with a coupon? Just as Vegas was trying to find its footing, a perfect storm started brewing on the international front. That July, the number of people flying in from other countries fell by 5.7%. It was a single statistic that sent shockwaves through every hotel, every casino, and every restaurant. And the reasons why stretched far beyond the bright lights of the Strip. A tidal wave of cancellations from Canada slammed travel agencies right after the US imposed a 35% tariff on their goods. We're talking organized boycotts and a weak Canadian dollar, which sent their visitor numbers into a nosedive. By some counts, down a jaw-dropping 30% year over year. In fact, the World Travel and Tourism Council predicted the entire US would lose an unbelievable $122.5 billion in international spending by 2025. And you can bet Las Vegas felt every single dollar of that loss. But the pain wasn't just coming from the north. Long visa delays were keeping eager travelers from China and Latin America away. All the while, the news cycle was filled with unsettling headlines about trade wars, public safety concerns, and record-breaking heat that made other destinations look a whole lot more appealing. To make matters worse, airlines began cutting direct flights and jacking up the prices on the seats that were left, practically pushing would-be Vegas vacationers toward Europe, Cancun, or Dubai. I mean, it made sense, right? Getting into those places was easier, and the all-inclusive packages were just more affordable. At the same time, everyday prices in the US had climbed 2.7% over the previous June, all fueled by tariffs that drove up the cost of everything from plane tickets to a simple meal. For so many people, the math just didn't add up anymore. Vegas had gone from being a staple trip to a luxury expense. And the competition overseas? It was becoming absolutely ruthless. Dubai, Ibiza, and Cancun were luring crowds with promises of sun, nightlife, and real value, often for a fraction of a weekend on the Strip. Then you had Europe's incredible summer season with great exchange rates and a cultural pull that was siphoning off Americans who would normally be filling Vegas pools. Caught in these swirling global currents, even the most aggressive price cuts and flash sales in Las Vegas felt like they were struggling to even turn the tide. But then, a new sound started rising from the desert. A massive new country music venue is taking shape on the Strip, promising to give the city a fresh new pulse for fans who want more than just tables and slots. Country superstar Luke Combs is teaming up with the legendary Opry Entertainment Group to bring an authentic Nashville experience right to the Grand Bazaar district, next door to Paris, Las Vegas. We're talking about a space designed for 1,500 guests, perfectly blending that gritty honky-tonk energy with state-of-the-art technology and even Combs' own memorabilia. He's all in too, committed to headlining on select weekends and handpicking the entire lineup for at least 18 months after the doors swing open in summer 2026. As Combs himself put it, 2026 was already going to be an awesome year, but this just takes it to a whole other level. And that's not all. Over at the unbelievable Sphere, the legendary Eagles are booked solid through May 2026, filling the city's most futuristic venue with their classic hits and absolutely mind-bending visuals. For anyone who's loved this city for years, these are the kinds of shows that give you a powerful reason to return. A bold reminder of why Las Vegas will always matter. And the transformation isn't just about music. Permanent Formula One infrastructure now carves its way through the heart of the Strip, literally reshaping Las Vegas into a year-round global sports hub, all centered around the Grand Prix Plaza. After an investment of over $500 million, this now stands as the world's very first permanent Formula One event space, ready to be booked for incredible events throughout 2026. Inside, F1X offers a 4D tech-driven racing adventure that you have to feel to believe, while F1 Drive lets you test your own reflexes on a real DRS-powered karting course. What was once a rare race weekend-only thrill is now the new reality every single month. The city's calendar of events looks like a sports fan's wildest dream, kicking off with Allegiant Stadium absolutely packed for the Super Bowl. Then WrestleMania 41st, the chaos of March Madness, and they're already drawing up plans to host the massive World Cup crowds. But these venues are doing so much more than just filling seats. They're anchoring Las Vegas as the new global capital for live events, and in doing so, they're drawing in a whole new kind of visitor, one who comes for the jaw-dropping spectacle, not the glimmer of the slot machines. In today's world, Vegas is betting its future on irresistible deals and unforgettable shows. But there's a catch. Fierce global competition and the fragile confidence of consumers are relentless threats looming on the horizon. Even so, a staggering $600 million in new attractions is currently rising from the desert floor. One thing has become crystal clear. The city's comeback story no longer hinges on bigger bets, but on convincing every traveler that the money they spend and the memories they make here are truly worth it.